Baby, all hell broke loose. I'm talking about this kid was running me around like I was a cul-de-sac, okay? Welcome back, guys and girls. Thank you for joining me. I am Rabbit West, aka West Nest Jess, and welcome to the West Nest. I've got something good for you mommies out there, you parents. I'm going to discuss one of our milestones that we've reached as a family. Really, it's all Atticus, but we're gonna say as a family. And that is the 18-month regression. What is sleep regression and what causes it, right? Sleep regression is simply a disruption of your baby's sleep. It's quite normal as your baby develops, whether it be a physical development or a cognitive development, for their sleep to worsen as their brain is adjusting to these changes that are going on within their body. You've got 6 months regression, 8-month regression, pick a month, there may be a regression. No kid follows the same, path. But up until this point of 18 months, usually these regressions are all physical. So your baby's teething, your baby is crawling, your baby's learning to walk. So as your baby's brain is dealing with these changes, their sleep worsens. The 18-month regression is usually cognitive. So it's a little bit different. Also, your baby is older, so they are more equipped to fight sleep. And my son is a heavyweight champion of this particular talent. I digress. So let's talk signs and behaviors that come along with this regression period, right? I've jotted down some notes that I took as pertaining to Atticus and with consulting some of my friends. So bear with me if you see me looking down. Okay, so the first one that we really saw with Atticus, which should have been honestly a red flag for us that this was coming, was change in nap. So changes in naps, combining naps. And what I mean by that is, for example, Atticus used to be a 2 nap a day. It was a 30 to 40 minute nap twice a day. We don't have that anymore. So now he takes one big long nap, usually 2 to 2.5 hours, and then he's done. Our first nap time used to be between 11 to 12. 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. he was going down for a nap. Now the boy just passes out whenever he wants to. So that's that. We also have, the early morning wake-ups. I don't know what job my son has. I don't know, what internal clock that he has, but he's always been an early riser. So now instead of waking up at 8 o'clock, he is waking up at 6:30. So that's another sign that you can see. Let's see, frequent night wake ups. Now, thank goodness we don't really deal with this. He still sleeps pretty soundly throughout the night, but a lot of parents do. Just your child getting up and maybe just like a little whine. They hit a cry real quick and then they go back to sleep. But you may see that frequently during this period. Separation anxiety. Clinginess, neediness, we are dealing with this. Low-key is kind of cute, but that's because I don't have a lot of separation to do from Atticus other than going to work and coming home. He stays with his Mimi, his grandma, so he's perfectly fine being left there. Where we're seeing it is at night when we put him down, him just simply not wanting us to leave. Also, when one parent leaves the room, If his daddy leaves the room, God forbid he goes out the front door, Atticus is gonna have a fit. He wants to go with his dad. When I get home from work and he hears the door open and him and his dad are upstairs in the man cave, baby, it's like being in the house with Stewie from Family Guy. All you hear is mom, mom, mom. And he will do that until I come and see about him, okay? Lastly, in this one we are experiencing as well, are what I call the no-no-nos. So I have a little tyrant who now all of a sudden decides that he got options. And he will tell you really gently, you know, no, 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 mommy. So those are some signs and behaviors that you can see during 18-month regression. To touch on briefly with the separation anxiety and neediness and the no-no-nos, I want to just give a small caveat that a lot of that is not necessarily a sign of the 18-month regression. It's more of a cause, to be honest. So those are cognitive things that your baby is learning, which their brain is having to cope with, which causes the worsening of their sleep. And what I mean by that is, like I said, Atticus knows now he has options. So he's more aware of the world around him. He's trying to figure out what he can control and what he can't control. And that's a cognitive skill. He also has cause and effect kicking in. He knows that, you know, when the door opens, that means somebody's leaving. And I don't want my mommy or my daddy leaving, you know, so he pitches a fit. So these are things that they're learning as their brain is developing, and it can lead to the regression. So now I want to talk about things to help us through this time, right? I am not a medical professional, okay? But they say that this can start as early as like 15 months and last up to, I've seen 3 years. And let me just stop you and tell you one thing. I can't do this until 3 years old. So I'm gonna go with the least number that I have seen, which is somewhere around their 2-year-old birthday. I can handle that. But the things that we're doing to get us through this time, right? The first thing, my dear, if you don't have one, get one. If you are not steady with it, I suggest you get steady. You need it. You need it immediately, expeditiously. You need it like yesterday. And that is a routine, okay? I run a tight ship. The routine has been the same since same was same. We stick by our routine regardless of what Atticus decides his nightly routine is going to be. And it helps us. It helps your baby to have structure. So every night, 7 p.m. sharp, we make our way upstairs. We make a big stink about it. He climbs up the stairs. We cheer him on. It's a thing. If it's bath night, then he takes his bath. We let him march us to his room. He loves taking people to his room. So we go to his room. We put on a fresh diaper and his night clothes. Then he likes to BCD. So BCD is Atticus for press the button. So we let him turn on his hatch, which is it's like a white noise sound machine with a little nightlight on it. So we let him press that, and then we sit down and we read a book. Once we read the book, Daddy helps him put the book on the shelf because the shelf is really high up, and he flies to put his book up. Then he comes back to me and we say our prayers and we hug, and he gives mommy sugar. After that, he goes to his daddy. His daddy lets him BCD and cut off the light. And then we put him to bed. We tell him we love him. We'll see him in the morning and we'll say night night. And if we're lucky, we get a night night back. And baby, we walk out the door. So that is our routine. That is our routine every single night. I was talking to one of my friends and she was saying, I actually have pictures on the wall. So a little bathtub, then a book, then, you know, crib, and then stuffed animal, and then, you know, sleep Z's or something. So she says after each step, she takes her toddler to the wall and goes, okay, it's time for this now, because they can't read, so they need the pictures. But yes, have a routine, have structure. This way your child knows exactly what's coming. And like Boys to Men, baby, they're gonna know when it's the end of the road. That's that. Another thing that I'm doing to help deal with like the separation anxiety is I am allowing Atticus to have time alone. So what I do is in the morning when he wakes up, at 6:30, I allow him to lay in the bed for 20 to 30 minutes and play with his toes. He says his ABCs, he counts, he sings his favorite songs, he just chills. And I guess my thought process behind that is that I'm awake and he knows I know he's awake, because he will look right in the camera and go, ma, ma, ma. So he knows that I know he's awake. And by leaving him there, he knows that his mommy or his daddy is gonna come get him. It just gives him some time to be in solace with himself and build that trust between the two of us that somebody's gonna come get me. I just gotta chill out and have a good time, and any minute they're gonna walk through the door. And that's been going really well. We don't have any whining or anything like that. He pretty much just sits there and babbles and talks and stuff. I might even insert like a video or something, a short snippet, so you can see him in the morning. Another thing, and shout out to my husband, that has really helped us. And give me a second, let me pull it up so I don't misquote it. I'll pop these up on the screen and I'll put the links down below. But my husband purchased the Dr. Teal sleepy spray, and it's like a melatonin spray with essential oils. It smells like lavender. It smells great. So when we are putting on his night clothes and his fresh diaper for bed, we just spray like 3 to 4 sprays on the mattress pad, and then we carry on with the routine. The second thing that my husband got is called Hyland's Natural Baby Organic Calming Balm. It is a chamomile balm, and it has chamomile and lavender. It's dermatologist tested and approved. And so, actually, let me give you everything it's got. It's got lavender and eucalyptus. And it's just supposed to soothe and relax, right? So we will put a little bit on our fingers and get it warm, and we'll actually massage it on his chest before we continue with our nightly routine. And it's been working. By the time we're finished reading, you know, our book of choice for the night, he's like a little drunk man and he can't hardly keep his eyes open. So those are some of the things that we're doing in the West Nest to kind of cope with, handle, deal, get through this 18-month regression. So now I just want to discuss with you, you know, what does this regression look like in my household? We've talked about what it is, signs and symptoms, but what is it? What's going down in the West Nest? A mess. It's November 4th. So around mid-October, it was a Tuesday night, like any other night in this house. We put Atticus down with the same routine. Life was great. Me and Dad went and had drinks on the patio. The end. Fast forward to Wednesday night, same routine. We put Atticus down. Atticus begins screaming. He's screaming, he's staring at the door, and he's screaming. Now, I run a tight ship. So we kiss him, we tell him we love him, we'll see him in the morning, night, we walk out, screaming or not. Baby, it was gut-wrenching. He was screaming at the top of his lungs, and then he would throw in a "Mom, Dada, Mama, Dada," and my heart was just like, but I didn't go back in there. No, sir. I'm not giving in. I knew that he wasn't sick. I knew he wasn't running a fever. I knew that nothing was wrong. Now, I will tell you, the way he was staring at that door, I was like, is this place haunted? Like, what's going on? Because it literally happened overnight. That particular incident lasted 2 hours and 40 minutes before he fell asleep. And he fell asleep like this, standing up. Now, two things can happen out of this situation in my mind, in my mommy brain, right? He is either going to shift his weight, lose his balance in his sleep, and fall and bust his head wide open. Or he is going to choke, resting his neck and his body weight on his neck on the side of the crib. So now I don't have a choice. I have to go back in and I have to lay him down. And then start the process all over again. That Thursday morning, I was just meditating and giving myself affirmations that I am fine off of this 20 minutes of sleep. I can get through this day. I won't die. We had about 3 nights of falling asleep standing up. And then once again, shout out to my husband. He kicked it into gear with his 2 purchases. He still resists going to sleep. He is the heavyweight, undisputed champ of such things. But he does like a whine. He may hit us with a cry, but he does lay down. And for the most part, he stays laying down. Now, that was until tonight. Tonight when we put him down, your boy lay down. He hugged Mr. Elephant and he laid there on his way to falling asleep like any other night. 20 minutes later, he is standing up and screaming. I run a tight ship. I cannot stress that enough. I'm not going back in there. So he finally just like looks at the camera, hits this hard whine, and then lays down and goes to sleep. It's a win-win for us all. So that's what it's looking like in the household right now. Some nights are better than others. And that's the thing, moms, parents, some days are going to be hard, regression or no regression, right? But we just see it through and we push through. We lean on others. My husband's an awesome help and I thank God for it, right? So that's a view into the West Nest with 18-month regression. Next, I want to talk about embracing the change. So we just talked about how hard it is, how overwhelming it can be, but we've got to embrace the change. So again, if you remember from the beginning of the video, this is due to a cognitive change. And these things are beautiful. You have to embrace it. It's hard, you're tired, you got a lot going on. You may be just straight up stressed at this point, but pay attention to what's going on. So the really neat thing, right, is the next day, that Thursday, we're up, I'm fixing breakfast, and I'll turn on Sesame Street while I'm fixing breakfast. Now, Wheels on the Bus is my baby's jam. Atticus reacts to Wheels on a Bus like somebody said, Cash Money Records taking over for the 99 in the 2000s. It's his jam. He loves it. And he loves to do all the movements, the wheels and the wipers and the horn. But the most that you get from him when he sings his song is just the sounds. So you get a swish, 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 or a beep, 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 and that's it. But he does do all the movements. Well, this Thursday morning, I just almost burned the eggs in a pan because I'm listening and my baby is singing the entire song from start to finish. And I'm like, okay, this is new. This is really new. The other thing that I thought was super awesome is my baby couldn't say elephant to save his life. he called it elephant, which is super cute, by the way. But elephant. Thursday, I asked him how did he sleep with, you know, him and Mr. Elephant. How was their night adventures? And he's like, elephant, elephant. And I'm just like, wow. But these are the cognitive things that are going on. So embrace them, because baby, you are going to blink and this kid's gonna be 16 going to prom. So take time to appreciate what is causing the regression. So guys, I hope that you find this video helpful. Has your kid gone through a regression? Not just 18 months, but any regression that you've noticed. And what did you do to get through it? Go ahead, leave a comment in the bottom. Help a mom, help a mom. Let's share our information and let's raise these kids and do the best that we can. I thank you again for joining me. I am Rabbit West, aka West Nest Jess, and you've just visited me in the West Nest. You guys have a good one. Bye.